Welcome back to a Book a Day podcast. And I'm back with another book, another story. In fact, this time I've got a collection of stories. The book is called The Other in the Mirror, Stories from India and Pakistan. And these stories, they actually carry some ghosts from the past. When you read these stories, you go back to 1947 at the time of partition, and at that time we all know all kinds of horrors were going on. But these are the things that actually happened with a lot of people. They experienced this reality, and much of that has been captured uh, in these stories. Some of them have been written by Indian writers, some have been written by Pakistani writers, and most of them have been written in Hindi or Urdu, these regional languages, and they have been translated into English. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to narrate one interesting story from this one. And as I said, it carries a lot of pain, a lot of horrors from the past. So bear with me and be prepared to go through the kind of trauma that many of our ancestors went through during the partition of 1947. This particular story is it's written by Gulzar, the famous poet and lyricist, and it was written first in Urdu and it has been translated into English by Rakshanda Jalil. It's called Crossing the Raavi. So here we go. Let me narrate this story. Crossing the Raavi by Gulzar. It is a wonder that Darshan Singh did not go mad. His father died. His mother was lost somewhere in what remained of the Gurudwara, and his wife gave birth to two babies at the same time. Twin, both boys. Darshan Singh did not know if he should laugh or cry. Fate had dealt him a strange hand, taken away with one hand what she had given with the other. It was being said that freedom had come or was coming, though it was hard to tell when it would reach Lyalpur. Hindus and Sikhs were surreptitiously making their way to the safety of the Gurudwara. Shani had been moaning in pain for the last few days and nights. Those were the last days of her pregnancy, and it would be her first labor. Every day, Darshan Singh would bring a new story about the riots. Every day, his father would comfort him. Nothing will happen, son. Nothing at all. Has any Hindu or Sikh home been attacked so far? But the Gurudwara was attacked, Papaji. It has been set on fire twice, he would say. And yet you want to go and assemble there. Darshan Singh fell silent. But all around him, people were leaving their homes and gathering in the Gurudwara. It is comforting to be in one place, Papaji. There's not a single Hindu or Sikh left in our alley. We are the only ones here. One night, 10 or 15 days ago, the sound of Papaji falling down in the courtyard rang out. Everyone woke up. Cries of Jo Bole Sonihal could be heard in the distance coming from the Gurudwara. Papaji had in fact heard the shouts and woken up and gone up to the terrace. On his way down, he had slipped on the stairs and the axe lying in the courtyard had smashed his head. Somehow or the other, Papaji's last rites were performed. Whatever little they possessed was stuffed in a pillowcase, and the three of them had made their way to seek refuge in the Gurudwara. There was no dearth of frightened souls inside the Gurudwara. No wonder he felt buoyed by with courage. Darshan Singh would say, "After all, we are not alone. If nothing else, we are close to Vaiguru." Groups of young volunteers would work all day long. People had collected flour, pulses, and ghee from their homes. All day and all night, the community kitchen churned out meals. But how long could the provisions last? The question haunted every heart. They were hopeful the government would send some help. But which government? Someone would ask. The English, they have left. Pakistan has been created, but there is no Pakistani government in place yet. I've heard that the military is all around. They're taking caravans of Sharanarthis till the border under their care. Sharanarthis? Who are they? Darshan's wife asked. Refugees. We've never heard these words before. A group comprising 2 or 3 families who could no longer bear the burden of anxiety decided to set off. We are leaving. We have heard that there are trains leaving from the railway station. How long can we sit around waiting here? After all, brother, one has to find the courage. Vaiguru will not carry us on his shoulders. Another one quoted from the Guru Granth Sahib to bolster his argument. Nanak Naam is the ship. He who boards the ship will sail across. No sooner had some people left than a bubble of emptiness would form in their absence. But as soon as a fresh set of people came with news from the world outside, the bubble would burst. So one would say, "Do you know, a huge camp has been set up at the railway station?" And the other would add, "People are dying of hunger and eating stale food. Diseases are spreading." 5 days ago, a train had passed by this way. There wasn't space to keep a seed of sesame. People were packed even on the roof. The next morning was Sankrant. Verses from the Guru Granth Sahib were being recited day and night. Shani gave birth to her twins at a very auspicious moment. Of the two, one baby boy was extremely weak. It had little chance of survival, but Shani kept it alive through the sheer force of her umbilical cord. That very night, someone said, "A special train has come to get the refugees. Let us go." A large mass of people set out from the Gurudwara. It included Darshan Singh and Shani too, who, though extremely weak, was willing to leave for the sake of her sons. The mother refused to budge. "I will come, son. I will come with the next lot. You leave with my daughter-in-law and my grandsons." Darshan Singh tried to dissuade her, but the Granthi intervened. The volunteers in the Gurudwara too tried to bolster his courage. "Leave now, Sardarji. One by one we shall go across the border. We will bring your mother with us." And so Darshan Singh set out. He put his 2 babies in a basket as though he were a street hawker who had set out with his family atop his head. The train was at the railway station, but there was no space inside it. People seemed to grow like grass on its roof. People saw the weak and sickly mother and her newly born babies, pulled her onto the roof and made some space for her. After about 10 hours, there was a small rumble in the train. The evening was red, as though bloodied, its face livid and ablaze. Shani's breasts were sucked dry. She would lift one baby away, then put the other to suckle. The bundle of 2 infants, wrapped in rags, looked like something that had been picked up from a garbage heap. After some time, as the train slowly pushed its way into the night, Darshan Singh noticed that while one baby moved its arms and legs and even let out an occasional cry, the other was absolutely still. He thrust his hand inside the bundle and found it was stone cold. When Darshan Singh burst into tears, the people sitting around him understood. They tried to take the baby away from Shani, but she seemed to have turned to stone too. She sat there with the basket clasped to her chest. No, one does not take milk without his brother, one said. Despite everyone's efforts, Shani refused to let go of the basket. The train stopped 10 times and moved 10 times. People made conjectures in the dark, one by one. I'm sure we have just crossed Khairabad. No, surely this is Gujranwala. Just an hour more, as soon as we reach Lahore, it is as good as reaching Hindustan. And in the fervor, they began to raise slogans. Jo bole so nihal, Sat Sri Akal, Har Har Mahadev. A wave seemed to ripple through the crowd as the train climbed a bridge. It's the Raavi. It's the Raavi. That means we have reached Lahore. In that clamour of noises, someone whispered something in Darshan Singh's ear. Sardarji, throw your baby here. It'll find its freedom in the Raavi. What good will it do taking it across the border? Softly, Darshan Singh nudged the basket away from his wife, and in one swift move plucked the bundle out and flung it into the Raavi with a loud cry of Vaheguru. The faint cry of a baby was heard in the darkness. Terrified, Darshan Singh turned to look at Shani. The dead baby was clinging to Shani's breast. A bubble of noise erupted all around him. Wagah border, Wagah, Wagah. Hindustan Zindabad. And that's how the story ends. There were two babies. One was alive, one was not. It was dark in the train. Darshan Singh was supposed to throw the dead child into the river, but he did the opposite. He threw the other one, the baby which was alive, he threw that one into the river. And that's how tragically the story ends. And as I said, this book is full of such stories. You'll be moved to tears when you read them. And so many of them have elements of reality. These are the stories that people lived. You'll frequently find these stories when you go to Punjab, on either sides of the border. And you talk to people, you talk to old people, the kind of experiences they had during that time. And that's the kind of stories that you will find in this book. The Other in the Mirror. It's edited by Seher Mirza, and it's a wonderful book. I'm sure if you will relate with the stories, whether you are in India or Pakistan, you'll understand the tragedies, you'll understand the human connection. And even if you come from some other part of the world, it's a great window to understand the tragedies in the subcontinent that took place at that time. And all these stories will touch you, touch your heart and soul. So with that, I'll take your leave, and I'll catch you with another book next time. Thank you very much for listening.